Aye.
All right, no. All right, so are we ready?
Yes.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. This is the Tucson-Pima County Historical Commission Plans Review Committee of Thursday, March 14th, 2024. Call to order at 1:01 p.m. And I'll go ahead and do roll call. Terry Majewski is here. Joel Ireland. Joel?
Here.
Thank you. Savannah McDonald.
Here.
Jan Mulder.
Here.
Andrew Christopher.
Here.
Thank you. We have a quorum. We're missing Commissioner Riojas, but she got roped into another meeting. All right, so item 2 is approval of the legal action report / minutes for the meeting of February 29th, 2024. Could I have a motion to approve as submitted?
This is Joel. I so move.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Savannah, I'll second.
Okay, I'll take Savannah. Okay, is there any discussion on those on that LAR / minutes? Okay, if not, I will go ahead and call roll. Terry votes aye. Joel?
Yes.
Savannah McDonald?
Aye.
Jan Mulder?
Aye.
Andrew Christopher?
Aye.
Great, so that's it. They unanimously pass 5-0.
Oh.
Item 3, historic preservation zone review cases, and we review these under UDC section 5.8/TSM 9-02.0.0 Historic District Design Guidelines and the revised Secretary of the Interior Standards and Guidelines. Case 3A, SD 0124-00007 at 1 East Tool. This is a continued case, code enforcement. It's for construction of an ADA ramp, west side staircase, replacement of basement windows, and modification of existing railing. It's a full review. It's in the Warehouse National Register District. It's a contributing resource in the Rio Nuevo area review. We use the rehabilitation standards. And who will begin, Jody or Ms. Gayoso? Are you here for that one? Jody?
Maria, do you want to give well, this was continued from last month. You had some concerns about the railing and questions that you wanted to answer. Vince is the architect. He is here to present. And Vince, I made you co-host so you can share your screen.
Yeah, and I think we can just move ahead focusing on the items that we ask you to return to discuss.
Yeah. Are you ready for me?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Okay. We'd like to thank the Tucson-Pima County Historical Commission Plan Review Subcommittee and City of Tucson to come back here and address your concerns from 2/29/24. Attending the meeting on our behalf is Ron Schwabe and Chris Layton from Peach Properties and Darren Perez, the owner, and Robert Lamb, the tenant representative. Vince Catalano, and the architect for the project. On 2/29/24, you had five items that you wanted us to address, and I would like to address them at this time. The first one was define railing elevations and details and attachments of proposed mesh, provide corrected guardrail and handrail heights, and illustrate the fire department connection. So in your pamphlet that I provided, we revised the whole packet to address your concerns, but I'm going to just cover the essential points because I know you have a busy schedule today. Page 11, we revised the rendering to show you what the new railing would look like. Then we provided construction documents on page 12, which shows the existing railing. And then we provided what the new railing would look like with the keeping the railing in place and doing the 4x4 mesh behind the railing. Then this is what the ramp would look like with the mesh Also getting the right heights for guardrail and handrails, which was one of the items. Then if you look at page 13, we have the west end, which we didn't show before, which shows the railing and the staircase, a piece of the staircase. And then we provide the mesh and we retain the staircase and the railing underneath the new ramp. Then page 14 provides the guardrail and railing for the side. It then shows how that railing will extend because it's only 2 feet. We don't need a guardrail, the remaining height. I would like to, I've added a sheet. I apologize that it wasn't in the set, but it gives you the detail of how the wire mesh is connected. We basically have a 1x1 steel tubing tack welded to the existing railing on the backside. And here's the existing railing. So you see that we're not impacting the existing railing in any way, and we have that wire mesh behind it. The other item was that the handrail fire riser, they were concerned about the fire riser penetrating. If you look at the construction of the existing loading dock, it basically has a 3-inch, it comes out, extends out. And then we have the handrail. So the fire riser is only extending into that area by 2 inches, which would not cause a problem, and it meets code. And then we define the handrail and guardrail height here again for you. So items 1, 2, and 3, which we're defining the railing, provide correct guardrail and railing heights, and illustrate the fire department connection, have all been shown to you at this time.
Okay.
Is there any questions for these elements?
Yeah, Vince, let's go ahead and do that. Who would like to start with questions?
This is Savannah. Yeah, I'll start. So I appreciate all the reworking the drawings to get kind of everything in a clear order and properly kind of illustrated. Did we talk about finish too? Is that noted on here? Is there?
Yeah, it's noted right here. The new railing 4x4 wire mesh covers natural rust mount behind existing railing. So it's just everything's going to be natural steel rust color.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think I think that's what we anticipated seeing, and I don't have any further questions really.
Okay, Jan, how about you?
I'm good. I appreciate coming back to clarify and updating the drawings. Thank you.
Okay, Joel, did you have anything?
No, I think they address our concerns and looks fine to me.
Okay, thank you. Andrew?
Yeah, only one question. The material of the ramp surface, is that also steel? And then how do you plan to address the slip resistant requirement?
It's diamond steel. It has a grid to the steel material.
Is it like a raw steel, or is it does it have a finish to it?
It's a diamond plate. The foot which you're stepping on is a diamond plate type.
Correct.
It has a raised pattern, so it's slip resistant.
Right, but is it typically diamond plate is like a chromed material? Is this a raw steel, or is it
It's
painted?
a raw steel, but it still has the texture to it.
Okay, great. That's all I had. Thanks.
Thank you. I didn't have anything additional. So Vince, do you want to talk about the other 2 items?
Okay, let's go to item number 4, documentation of existing windows and proposed placement of what we're replacing with. So if we go to sheet, it's pages 16, 17, 18, and 22. Page 16 shows the inside, which is a clearer view of what they look like. They basically are casement window broken up into 3. If you look at window 6, window 4, 8, they're basically broken up into 3 elements. If you look at them from the outside, which is page, oh, sorry, I hit the wrong button. 1 second. Let me get to the page it's on. Okay, so this is from the outside. Sorry. So at windows 1, 2, 3, you can see I have a heavy screen on them, and that's going to be removed, and the window is going to be replaced. Number 3, 4, 5, and 6, are basically, we're gonna remain the wrought iron in place and replace the window that's behind it. We found a product that's been approved by the city of Tucson, and I'm gonna go up there and show you the product and a picture of what it looks like. Okay, so it's called Fire Tech Series 985 casement. So we can match a casement window with the fire. It'll be basically a clear glass with a steel frame to match what was removed. At this time, do you have any specific questions about that?
And this is item 4, right?
Yes.
Okay, Savannah, let's go with you first.
So
Can I
there's-
just add one more thing?
Sure.
Okay, so what happened was we've been working with the fire, with the building department to get this window approved. It's an operable fire rate, 3/4 hour fire rated window. So we basically are not changing the ventilation. So there are some additional notes in the project about window number 9 being replaced for a register. But since we're able to get an operable window in these 6 windows that we're replacing, then we don't have to worry about ventilation, and we won't have to put a fan in the window in number 9. So number 9, 7, 8, and 9 will not be changed from their existing condition.
Okay, and so that's something you would update on your plans at the end, if we,
Yes,
okay.
I would
but-
remove those window 9 from any documentation.
Yeah, so I think that needs to be mentioned in a motion so that it doesn't slip through in the final plan,
Okay.
commissioners. Okay, all right, thank you. So Savannah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I just missed that. So we're looking at windows 1 through 6, but not 7, 8, 9.
Right, because we don't need to change them. They're on the back of the building facing the railroad track. And I don't need to put fire rated windows in those locations. The reason I'm
So
putting the fire rated windows, just to refresh your memory, was because they're along a walkway on the west side of the building. And to
Right.
meet the code, we had to go to fire rating. And on the south side, because we have the ramp adjacent to it, that's still considered an exit way. So all those locations needed the 3/4 hour fire rated glass.
Okay, so those are just included here for our information.
The 1 through 6, I'm showing pictures
Sorry.
inside and outside.
7, 8, 9, I just was.
7,
confused.
8, 9, I just showed them where they were. And 9, we were almost going to have to put an inline fan because of the ventilation issue, but the building department just approved the operable fire rated glass last week.
Okay.
So-
So we're looking at 1 through 6 and yeah, it looks like from the photos that they were existing casement windows,
Yes,
all 6 of them. 'Cause
yes,
5 was boarded up, so we're just assuming,
yeah.
okay. And does the wrought iron remain?
Yeah, we're keeping the wrought iron because it's part of what's been there for many, many years. We don't know when it was installed. We do
Okay.
have safety issues on the side there. We do have homeless issues. And I know we'll have a lot more activity because it's not going to be vacant anymore, but we were trying to make it safe for the occupants.
I mean, yeah, the proposed product looks fine. What is the size and material or finish?
Well, the sizes, we're matching the existing openings.
Do you have those in the documents? Size?
I don't have that. I'm just matching existing. We're just replacing the windows.
Understood, yeah. And will finish?
It's still going to be this metal, raw metal, matching the existing steel finish that we have there that's going to rust.
This finished product will rust?
Yeah, it's a steel. It has that steel look to it that's matching the existing that we have upstairs and throughout the building.
Okay, I think we should just clarify that, because it the pre-manufactured product looks like it has like a power
that's just a tip,
Yeah.
that's a typical from their specs of what they're accomplishing, but we have
Okay.
working with them to get to match what we have.
Okay, I mean, everything you're saying to me sounds fine, but it's just, it's not. That piece of it, the size, finish, all that's not.
Just the Fire Tech series, that picture you're talking about, 985 right here. It does give us options of finishes. And then here's
Okay.
showing the basement in the window application.
Okay, that was.
Did you have, did you have more on that, Savannah?
Sorry, I forgot I was supposed to speak this direction. All my questions were answered.
Okay, thank you. Jan?
Yeah, as long as the things that Savannah called out are added to the plans, I'm fine, thanks.
Okay, Joel?
I'm on board, yeah, again, as Savannah, if the things Savannah called out are there, good.
Okay, how about you, Andrew?
Yeah, the new windows, is there an option to have divided lights? It looks like most of the
Oh, they are
ex-
divided lights. It's gonna be 3 panels, like the page 18, see there's 3 panels to match what was taken out.
Oh, okay. All right, I just missed that. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, my questions were covered too. Let's go on to that last item then.
The last item is light fixture placement, and page 15, if you go to page 15, we are providing, we want to provide, Rio Nuevo is requiring that we have lighting at the entry. We should have lighting at the entry anyway for building code. So if you look at page 15, we have a picture of the 3 front doors that are existing, and we're putting lighting above those front doors. We're recommending puck lights, which would provide a little depth so you really wouldn't see them. And if you look at the picture below that, it shows that there's really a double awning. You have the awning that goes out the 4 feet, but then you have a little awning that's underneath that. These puck lights would be located under the little awning here, and they would be LED lights, and they would be on a switch inside the building. And the other concern was making sure when we drill the holes to install these lights, we wouldn't be impacting the facade and being tucked up underneath there. It was a tight, felt like an efficient way to get light and not make impact the visual from the roadway of the building.
Okay, and how many will there be? I'm sorry if I missed that.
Yeah, if you see there are 3 at each door, 1 above each door.
Got it, okay. All right, question, Savannah?
What is the proposed finish of the lamp or the light fixture, and is the snip that's on there is what's proposed?
That's it. It's only a little narrow thing. It's only like 1.5 inches deep, and it's a white trim. But it's stuck under the awning, and it's not visible.
Do they have a different finish? I don't know, I feel like white sticks out too much.
I mean, I could paint it. I mean, we could paint the finish. It's just a lip. There's not much to it's a flat LED light.
So we're seeing something that looks kind of like oval.
Well, it's circular. It's a circle. It's just the way the picture. Right there is that it says Narva 933V LED awning lamp. That's a picture of it. Actual picture of it.
Yeah, it's just confusing because we don't have like a plan view or like an image of what the light looks like a standard
Oh, it's
view.
a disc. It's a puck light disc.
Okay.
It's a puck light. It would be called, another term would be a puck light.
So it's a 1 inch by what's the diameter?
6 inch.
You have over 6 inches to stick it up under there?
Yes.
Okay.
And yes, the goal is not to impact the existing awning. So if we have to go to a 4 inch, they make it in a 4 inch also.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what my fellow commissioners feel about the finish, if that's important to them too, but I think conceptually what you're saying is fine with me. It's just hard. As it's described and as you've provided answers verbally, I think it's all fine.
Yeah, I mean, especially, it sounds like you may not be locked in if you're talking about, you're not sure if it'd be a 6 or a 4. If there is an option for a brown finish or a black finish, something that's less visible than a white.
I'm sure there is an option for a black finish, so.
Yeah. Use like bronze. And stuff,
Yeah,
or they have
yes,
like rings. And...
Yeah, so if there is like like a bronze or something, but anything dark would be better than white, I think.
Okay, and that's fine.
That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Joel.
Yeah, I just, and it's installed, so that there's no, how do I say this? No penetration into, existing, historic beams or facade in the facade or anything like that.
No, you're right. That's why we selected what we did, so we wouldn't have penetrations into anything historic.
All right, good deal. Thank you.
Okay, Andrew?
No, I don't have anything to add. I agree on the finish comment. If there's a darker one, that'd be great, but looks fine to me.
Okay, so Commissioners, do you have any other things, or is someone ready to discuss a motion? Because we continued the case, so, you know, basically we got to this point with only the 5 things that we wanted more information on. Ostensibly, I believe we agreed that the other proposed things were okay. Am I correct in remembering that? Okay. So who might wish to make a motion here with all these details that we discussed?
I'm happy to.
Okay.
And just before I do so, I just want to check. That we'll ask for in the submitted documents to clarify the actual window dimensions, divided light, proposed finish, and then the lighting to be 1 inch deep puck lights of 4 or 6 inch diameter concealed by the edge of the roofing, and preference to be black or bronze finish.
Is that the fan,
Oh,
the fan being removed from?
That was the fan option for,
Window number 9.
right. Okay,
fan option for window 9
not needed.
is
It's removed, they're not doing it now, it's just on plans.
Is not to be done or reviewed.
It's not shown on. Yeah.
Or remove plans, I would say.
The fan, sorry, I'm so confused. The fan
They have plans, a fan on the plans, which my understanding is they're no longer.
Oh, okay.
putting in, so it just needs to be removed. from the
Okay.
plans.
Okay.
And
Because that Windows 7 through 9 won't change,
actually, I want to change.
right?
Okay, got it.
Okay. Alrighty, so does anyone else have something to add before Savannah goes into it?
I don't know if this is important in terms of historic review, but the handrails need to have a return on them. I don't know that I have a preference though from a historic perspective of how those actually terminate, but that should be updated.
It was the one at the end of the ramp, right? I think
Yeah.
it's fine.
Right. It needs to return either to the guard or to the ground though, right? But I don't know if that doesn't matter.
It has to curl. Yeah, it doesn't have to go to the ground. It just has to. It has to come around. So okay, we'll pick that up.
You have either option, that's,
Right.
that was a good one. Okay, sounds good.
Go ahead.
All right. On the matter of SD 0124-00007 at 1 East Tool, I move to recommend approval of the project as presented with the following inclusions. That the applicant needs to clarify window exact dimensions, that they are divided light and the proposed finish in the submitted documents. But the lighting proposed to be 1-inch deep puck lights of 4 or 6-inch diameter concealed by the edge of the roofing with a preference for black or bronze finish. That the fan option for window 9 to be removed from the plans, and that handrails to have a return, to be corrected to have a return at the bottom of the ramp.
Great. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. Is there further discussion? Okay, if not, I'll go ahead and call roll. Terry votes aye. Joel,
Yes,
Savannah? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Okay, Andrew?
Aye.
Okay, it passes 5-0. And applicants, do you have any questions?
Dan tried to.
Jan says I too.
What?
Jan votes I too.
Oh, I heard her. Yeah, I've got her. All right, so does anyone, do the applicants have any questions of Maria or Jody?
I do not. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, everyone. Okay, we'll move on to case 3B, and that is SD 0523000060 at 329 West Franklin Street. It's conversion of a detached garage to medical kitchen. It's a full review. It's in the El Presidio Historic Preservation Zone. It's a non-contributing resource. So the garage is the non-contributing resource, Jody?
Yes, it's a non-contributing property.
Okay, and we'll be using the rehabilitation standards, which, so my assumption is that we review this in terms of compatibility, appropriateness for the nearby contributing resource? Is the house there a contributing resource?
I'm sorry, say that again. You kind of cut out.
Yeah, is the house a contributing resource that this garage belongs to?
No, they're both non-contributors.
Okay, so it's basically compatibility with, in the development zone?
The development zone surrounding homes, yes.
Okay, great, thank you. Okay, so, do you have any background?
Yes, so this property was heard by the El Presidio Historic Zone Advisory Board on January 29th. They had a motion to approve the project as presented with the following conditions. A dimensioned roof plan is provided to show the location of the exhaust, that the trees are placed in the site plan, that the paint on the equipment is specified, and all equipment is located to the north and the east as much as possible. And then they clarified, amended the motion to include an additional point of discussion that the makeup air unit located on the ground at the northeast corner. And then finally, they had another amendment that the paint on the unit should be powder coated, not reflected, or a matte finish. It should be a muted color matching the roof. And it should also be noted that vegetation should be added to block the views. And it was approved with the amendments with a vote of 7-0.
Okay, thank you. And, who will be presenting this case?
Alex Enoch is here, he's the designer. And Alex, you were a co-host, so you can share your screen.
Okay, and so Alex, we're reviewing the same plans that El Presidio reviewed, correct?
Correct. Well, no, I recently made the updated changes, so the comments that they had have now been addressed and are in the set that I'm going to show you guys. And
Okay.
I did submit this online
So-
through the historic review.
So the plans, Alex sent those late. They're not posted. What you received and was posted online were what was reviewed by El Presidio.
Correct.
What Alex is trying to show you are updated plans based on their comments.
Okay, so be sure to point those areas out, Alex, okay?
Got it.
Thank you. Go ahead.
All right. Can you guys see my screen?
No,
I see you.
Let me see. You said you shared my screen, right?
I made you co-host so you could share your screen.
All right,
Searching for.
all right. Now you guys see it, right?
There we go. King
Yep.
Gardens, yep.
Actually, that's the older set. Hold on. That's not the correct one. On the newer set, what's wrong? Why is this the old one? Give me 1 second.
Everybody bought a bunch of different pies. Yeah, I've heard of those.
Well, I'm just gonna walk through this one and just kind of advise you on the changes that you'll see on the new set. So the changes on the new set right away is in the site plan, because they wanted more vegetation. I've now cleared off this area over here and this area over here with vegetation showing oleanders, and it's clearly called out on the plan set. And then
Alex, can you actually walk through what the proposal is, because they're new to this?
oh,
And
okay,
then,
so
and then go through the changes.
gotcha.
Yeah.
So as mentioned, the project itself is a non-contributing property, and what we got here is a garage that was converted without a permit to be a livable space from the previous owner. And the new owner, which is King Gardens, they decided they wanted to utilize this as what they call basically a minor commercial kitchen where people just can cook for their venue. And upon doing so, of course, we have some equipment that will be placed up on the roof. And that was the big concern with the neighborhood association, which is visually seeing the equipment. So to get permits, we wanted to go ahead and bring the structure into compliance. So the plan submitted, we're showing the non-permitted issues. So the garage door being removed and replaced, the bathroom being installed inside, and the electrical upgrade. But then my portion of it for the actual new construction was doing a kitchen hood onto the roof and then doing a makeup air on the roof. And after a couple iterations with neighborhood, they didn't like the idea of those on the roof. I can't move the kitchen hood onto the side. There's a code requirement stopping me from allowing it to be on the side unless I'm over 10 feet and I don't meet that. So that has to stay on the roof. But I was able to move the VAP cooler to the floor. And so that's on the floor. Like that, you can actually see it right here in this guy. That's on the floor now. And what I do have is ducts running up and over onto the roof. And so for compliancy purposes, now we've got the oleanders called out. I don't have it on this site plan for some reason, but it's on the updated set in this corner and in this side over here. And then on the, make sure this guy is the right one now. Let me zoom out here. You'll see here, this is the equipment on the roof. Oops. Sorry. I'm using my laptop, so I'm not too used to using this guy. Over here is the evap cooler on the floor, the ducts running up, and then the exhaust hood. And then I do call them out as to be powder coated to match the shingle roof as requested by the neighborhood association. Those were the main concerns that they had.
Yeah, so what we're seeing over on the left of that building section, that's what you proposed it to look for because you can't move that one thing off the roof.
Correct.
Okay, and tell me, what is a medical kitchen? I'm just
I was
being,
gonna ask that.
So in the end, it's just for outpatients. So in the end, what it is just to help people with some conditions. Sometimes they can use an outlet to cook wise. That's what it really comes down to. So sometimes they might just be able to go make pizzas or something, just a way to vent and talk their issues.
Well, you said it was a commercial kitchen, but then it's called out on the permit as a medical kitchen.
Yeah, because I mean, so it's not going to be used for public use like that, like where people, it's a restaurant. It's not that sort of use.
So wait, but the owner is Kingman,
Yeah, the wedding venue adjacent.
so it is a commercial kitchen.
So the owner, there's a medical, the actual approved use of this lot is medical. And the only way to get a commercial kitchen is they're labeled as medical outpatient kitchen. That's
So
the
it's
actual
not,
use of the lot.
So it's not really a medical kitchen, it's a commercial kitchen, but you're calling it medical kitchen.
Yeah, but it won't be used for like a restaurant use. But it's used for anybody who wants to come in and make like I said, pizzas or hamburgers or something for the venue.
So this is gonna serve the wedding venue, though. It's not serving the medical office.
Correct.
Okay. So I don't know, how does that work with zoning then, if the approved use of this, it seems like it would have to be on the lot that has the venue as an approved use.
Yeah, well, we've already got through zoning. I believe they've already approved it as the use what I'm designating on the lot. Because like I said, the way it works truly is the lot itself that we're using it for, because the owner owns both the lots. She owns the lot it's on and the adjacent lot to the east, which is the actual wedding venue lot. And so on the lot that we're proposing on that she owns, its approved use is a medical use, and that's what it's for. But in the end, the back building will be utilized for the wedding venue. But the only way to get this thing approved was just to dedicate it as a medical kitchen, because that's actually still the use of the lot, and that is an allowed provable use for the building on that lot.
So I understand that, but this is gonna be used as a catering kitchen for the wedding venue. So I don't know that you can just call it something that
But
I don't
Andrew,
know.
this is our purview, Jody. I mean,
Yeah, it's out of your purview. That'll be zoning, will look at that, you're looking
Okay,
at design on the exterior.
yeah, and so it seems to me that the changes are minimal, except, so the advisory board has not seen this revised placement, because were they hoping for all equipment to be off the roof?
No,
They understood this then.
yes.
Yeah, they understood the
Okay,
kitchen would have to stay there, the hood would have to stay.
Okay, that's fine. Then go ahead.
And here's the other elevation. You can clearly see again the units on the floor, ducts running up. And the duct is a minimal. I put it to the northeast as far as I could. It's a 12 by 12 duct. And again, I called it out as to be powder coated everywhere. And the kitchen hood's the only thing that'll be clear. But again, to help block the look of it, they wanted to make sure I call out the oleanders, which, like I said, for some reason it's not on my site plan, but it is called out on there. I had that 2 spots where I think I showed 2 in one corner and 3 in the other.
Okay. All right, other things?
That's it on my part. I mean, you guys let me know if you have any additional questions. But that was the concerns of the neighborhood.
Can you
Review.
go through what it looks like from the street from Granada and then what you're changing? It looks like you are changing the west elevation, adding a window and stuff.
Yeah. Let me see. So this is the view of the street right here, this guy. So again, the way it's designed is I actually have this area going to be full of oleanders, and then this area all right here full of oleanders that will grow and conceal majority of the building. But again, as you can see, the building is tucked back pretty good. And so we won't ever see the duct for sure, but the kitchen hood you'll probably see. It'll be right here in this little corner.
Can you talk about what we're seeing on that elevation and then what else was proposed to change in terms of siding and windows?
So the original building, as mentioned, was a garage. So this was, of course, clearly a garage door that the previous owner came and put up T111 siding and then put up windows. And we're proposing to leave it as is. I mean, it's been like that for a really long time now. But it is just the green T111 siding, and then it's the old steel windows is what it is.
He's
Because it's
just now getting, because it didn't get a permit, he's showing it as new,
Oh, okay.
so
Yeah.
he's now getting it permit.
Yeah, but I mean, it
Okay.
was already built.
So that is existing, the T11 and the steel window.
Yeah, even though it says new on the
Okay.
plans, because technically it doesn't exist.
Exactly. Yeah, I have to show it as a new structure for the city of Tucson, so that way they can approve it.
Okay, So the plans that we see, that there's screens on the roof, that's gone now though, right?
Correct. Yeah, that was one of the iterations we had originally discussed where I was trying to mimic the surrounding buildings. And what I found is there's a lot of buildings that in the area that do have exposed ductwork and units on the roof. And then at the same time, there's ones where they actually concealed it with just parapet pop-ups. And so we discussed maybe trying to do it as like a fireplace kind of look to help hide the system, but that became to be just too beefy. It was just too much going on the roof because they ended up being like 6 to 8 feet because I needed clearances around the units to be able to access and do any sort of modifications if we needed to. But so we ended up discussing just to get it, make it minimal. So leave the hood the way it is exposed and then just put the evap cooler on the floor as presented.
Okay,
And then looks like on the south, there's just a door there. You're just gonna keep the door on the window.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, and there's no other elevation that you see from the street, is that right?
Say that again?
We just see a little bit of the south, a little bit in the west. Do we just see any other elevation from the street?
I think I originally submitted a couple of them. Let me see. This is the original submittal package.
okay, Savannah, was that?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay.
All right, Jan, what about you?
I just wanted to clarify that now all of the heating and cooling and ductwork and the exhaust fan, they're all powder coated and the exhaust fan's the only thing on the roof.
Correct. Yep. And I called it out several places. It's called out on the elevations. It's called out on the floor plan. It's called out on the mechanical plan. So I made sure to notate it just about everywhere. Roof plan.
Okay, is that it for you, Jan?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Joel?
Yeah, I'm not clear. The chimney we're talking about, is that required because it's a medical, required for a medical kitchen?
The
Divide-
kitchen, the hood, we're not doing a chimney anymore. So what we got exposed on the roof is just a hood. It's your standard commercial hood that you see up on it. Basically, it's a double exhaust fan is what it really is. It's just really big. They end up being about 2 feet in diameter by about 10 to 18 inches high.
But I guess my question is, the reason we have that there is to get around the issue that it's not really a medical kitchen, but a kitchen we're gonna use for an event catering service. True.
No, that has nothing to do with it. What that is strictly just, it's because it's a real hood. It's not your standard hood that you put in a residence. A real hood requires an actual commercial kitchen hood. And so that's what those things look like. So if you go to any restaurant or anything like that, you'll see those guys up on the roof. Because we can't get, in the end, what they're proposing to use it for, they won't be able to use a standard 4-burner or 6-burner. They want to be able to have a convection oven. They want to be able to have a regular oven and a range. And I think a fryer too is actually one of the things they have in there. I don't remember. Yeah,
And
actually,
I guess my next question is for Jody. And in the guidelines of the neighborhood, do the guidelines, as in West University, say that there should be nothing on, no HVAC on the roof?
That's a good question. Let me look that up real quick for you.
Okay, just if you'd let us know before we take the vote, that'd be great.
I had one kind of comment / question while Jody's looking that up. I agree that the zoning issue is outside of our purview. On the other hand, just a point of process that allowing the commercial kitchen that's not really for the use on this lot in this building means we're dealing with an exhaust fan that wouldn't be here, but for the city deciding it can use the adjacent property for a commercial kitchen. So the workaround kind of results in the one visible impact from this project that probably wouldn't be necessary if it were an on-site use.
Joel, to answer your question, under roof forms and elements in the El Presidio design guidelines, the last sentence does say mechanical equipment, when placed on the roof, should not be visible from the street.
I got you.
But,
And this essentially is not visible. Is that true?
well,
It
it's less visible because oleander plantings that apparently were discussed at the meeting, correct? Something that grows tall.
Yeah, so I mean, they're putting oleander equipment on there, or oleanders around it, but it should also be noted, this is not the primary residence, this is a detached garage. So I think
Oh, is that what it said?
And it's.
it doesn't, I think it doesn't,
Non-contributing.
it's a non-contributor, it's the detached garage, so I think that that needs to play into it, so even though it does say mechanical equipment should not be visible from the street, you know, it's not the primary residence, and I think that's mostly the concern that a lot of people have, is having the mechanical equipment visible from the primary residence.
Thank you.
And to note, like I mentioned, I did do my research. There's several properties that have the units where you can see them from the street. This one's just down the street. You can see the unit there. There's another one, I think, on my next view. This was a bad one. You can see this one and its duct on the street. This is the roof of it. So there's several properties within the vicinity. This is that one right there that you can see
Yeah,
clearly
that-
see the duct and the works and everything
That
on there.
doesn't mean that it was reviewed. You know what I mean? It could be,
No, I get that.
I don't want us to get derailed on this. I'm gonna vote for this. I just wanted to be clear on, just exactly what I was doing. So
no,
I'm
that's fine.
just the way it is. So it's fine.
Okay, anything else?
Yeah, so are you proposing leaving the T111 siding? Would you be open to replacing that with something more historically appropriate, maybe? Just the siding,
What are we talking?
like a lap siding or something more like a true wood product versus a flat sheet product?
I mean, the T111 is pretty close to the lap look. I mean,
And
if
is
that's
it
what you guys is
existing?
requiring, of course we'll do it just to get this thing approved. But I mean,
Well, but it's
we would-
existing, right, Alex?
yeah, it's existing. And
Yeah.
it's been that way for a while now. I mean, I think the current owners only had it for like 10 years, 15. So it's been over that the previous owner did this. So
Yeah, and it's a non-contributor, so, I mean, Jody,
Yeah.
what do you think of that?
I think it's, again, I mean, on this, the front thing, it is, I mean, it's not ideal. Cause it's a T111 siding, but again, it's also a non-contributor and it's on the detached structure. I think more importantly, it shows where the original opening was. And it makes a clear delineation on that.
It's pretty color.
And Savannah thinks it's a pretty color.
Yeah, and Jody, I agree with that. So that's why I'm gonna vote for this,
Okay, well, we don't have a motion yet, so you don't know if you're gonna vote. So, anyway, any other comments before someone does make a motion? And I think we really need to be clear that the things discussed are on the final plans and the Jody's office should review these. Does that make sense? After the director makes the decision?
Yeah, it'll come back through as part of the permitting process. And staff will make sure that the conditions, like everyone, all of them are addressed in the plans.
Okay. All right, so if no one would someone like to summarize what might be in a motion so we can move forward?
I'll try. I think we're gonna approve the revised plans as submitted, just noting that it needs to call out the oleander on the west and the northwest corner. And that all ductwork, the exhaust fan, the evaporative cooler, any other HVAC equipment be powder coated. And I think that's all I have.
Is that what everyone thinks is okay?
Yeah.
All right, do you want to go ahead and just move that, or do you want to could you restate it?
Okay.
The motion, please?
Okay, in the matter of SD 0523-00060, at 329 West Franklin Street, the conversion of a detached garage to a medical kitchen. It's a non-contributing resource. We recommend approval of the revised plans, noting they should include the presence of oleander on the west side and the northwest corner of the building, that all ductwork, exhausts, such as the exhaust fan on the roof, evaporative cooler on the ground, and anything else is powder coated, and that the exhaust fan is the only roof structure.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second, Savannah.
Okay, is there further discussion? Okay, if not, let's go ahead and call roll. Terry votes aye. Joel,
Aye.
Savannah,
Aye.
Andrew,
Aye.
Jan.
Aye.
Okay, that's 5-0. Okay, we're gonna move ahead with 3C, but I just want to give people a heads up.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Oh,
Yes.
did you have any questions? I'm sorry, before I move on. Are you good?
Nope, I'm good. Thank you. Appreciate
All
it.
right. Thank you too, Alex. Okay, we'll go ahead and move ahead with 3C, but if I feel that we're getting a little bit, I'm nervous about the time. We may hear 3E next, so that Joel can come back and we won't lose a quorum, right? Does that make sense? Because Jan may have to leave.
Yes.
Sound reasonable? Okay, let's just play it by ear. So we'll go ahead with 3C, which is D 1223 00137 at 125 East 16th Street. This is to enclose a patio into a family room. Full review in the Armory Park Historic Preservation Zone, contributing resource using the rehabilitation standards. Jody, do you have background?
Yes, so this project was heard at the Armory Park Historic Zone Advisory Board on February 20th. And after it was previously continued, but they made a motion to recommend approval of the project plans as presented, including work already completed, the waiver of the setbacks as appropriate, with the condition that the new room would be all stucco without a replicated rock base. And it was passed with a vote of 5-0. And Stephen Newton is the property owner. He's here. Stephen, I made you a co-host, so you're welcome to share your screen.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Just share the screen real quick. Okay, so this is the presentation that was presented to the advisory board a few weeks ago. So I'll just try to run through it quickly because we are a bit short on time. So here's a development zone map, the red being the property in question. Here are some of the facades in the neighboring area. So this is Main Street, South 5th Avenue, 16th Street, and South Arizona Ave, which is where most of the work is going to take place. That's what the existing facades look like. So the following proposal outlines our plan to enclose the current rear porch, adding an additional 500 livable square feet to the existing 972 square feet of 125 East 16th Street. The initiative aims to enhance the aesthetic appeal of the structure by beautifying the western facade that faces South Arizona Avenue. It's designed to uphold the integrity of the building's existing footprint and historic architectural style with thoughtful integration that seeks to blend the functionality and elevated aesthetic, resulting in a harmonious and impactful enhancement to the property and surrounding area. So here's some aerials of the existing house. There's a garden wall off to the east side of the main facade. So this is what was constructed. Some details. And here are the drawings. So the scope of work is basically to enclose an existing porch with these 3 masonry walls. A lot of stuff from, I guess, the previous owner is grandfathered in to these drawing set to, bring it up to legal standard. Here's a wall section of the typical window situation. We're proposing to have 2 French patio doors and another swing door along with 3 new windows to this porch. So here you can see a before and after, the before being on the far left side and the after proposed being on the right side. So these are just the facades, along with the type of windows that and patio doors that we're planning to use. Here's the garden wall that was photographed earlier. This is sort of the existing condition of what's being built. This is the existing house, some of the details that we're trying to replicate. And here are renderings of how a before and after, how this will appear. However, as noted by Jody, we're going to do away with this rock on the bottom portion of the new addition and just keep it smooth. Here's another view. And I actually do have some renderings here, some new ones of how it would look with a smooth face as recommended by the advisory board. So you can see here, it's just smooth.
Is it smooth? Yeah, it's only when you think like it was part.
And here's the other one.
I'm not seeing any renderings here. I'm just seeing a thank you.
Oh, hold on, let me see.
Yeah, and before you show those, Jody, did you read what Armory Park had to say? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Sid, can you ask that question again?
Did you summarize what Armory Park said?
Yeah, I summarized what Armory Park said. Did you want me to read that again?
No, I don't know why I missed that. Was I in a zone somewhere?
I didn't hear the part about where they asked for smooth.
Yeah, that was the only thing there.
Oh, right. Okay, got it.
Yeah,
And
Removal of
without the replicated rock base.
Yeah, it didn't say what the finish was on the existing or new.
This was their action, yeah. Motion to recommend approval of the project plans as presented, including work already completed, the waiver of the setbacks as appropriate, with the condition that the new room would be all stucco without a replicated rock base. That's the motion.
Okay, so
It does say in so right before, the board's major concern was the attempt to recreate the rock-based appearance on the new room as it would create a false sense of history. The owner agreed to remove that portion of the plans and use smooth stucco instead.
Okay, great. And so would we need to mention a waiver of setbacks in our motion?
Yes,
and is this a violation because work has already been done?
Yes.
yes.
Okay, and again, we're not consistent on putting these on the
Sorry.
violation. Yeah, okay, so go ahead, Andrew, do you have, and so this is the rendering? Yes,
Stephen, what's the finish on the existing and on the new, the stucco finish?
Oh, so it's a painted white stucco finish. I could pull up.
What is the texture?
Texture.
It looks like a medium sand.
So the addition would be smooth and the existing is medium, is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
You could see sort of the texture. I don't know if it's my screen is showing. Here's the existing texture. So we're gonna go a bit smoother than I guess what's existing.
You think that's a heavy?
It's pretty, yeah, it looks pretty heavy to me. Well, could just be the shadows.
Anyway, if he's going with.
I don't-
smooth, it would
yeah.
be distinguished.
They'll be distinguished.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, he's going to see him.
okay, what else do you have, Stephen?
That's everything.
Okay, well then I'll go ahead and ask questions. Who would like to start? I'll go in a different order. We could start with Andrew.
Sure, yeah. Only thing really, I think the proportion of the windows and all of that looks good. Looking back through the Armory Park HPZ guidelines, under porches, it says maintain original porches And then front porches should not be enclosed as rooms, and so I don't know, I question it a bit in that regard, and that we are enclosing a porch, and it's a rear porch, so that's okay, but the front porch is already enclosed as well, so am I correct that this house won't have any porches once this is done?
That is correct. I believe it was like done in the 70s, that they enclosed the front porch into like an Arizona room.
Okay,
Correct,
I mean-
so when the property was designated, if you look at the inventory form, it was already, the front porch was already enclosed. And if I recall correctly, when I was looking around at Sanborn maps, this is not the original rear porch, it's been added on to.
okay,
So
Okay.
into this wouldn't be, if it hadn't, okay, if they built, enclosed that front porch in the 70s and it's not been removed as a contributor from the district, it's not likely to now be removed, in my opinion. Would you agree, Joe?
Correct. Yes, I would agree.
okay.
Um,
Okay,
But if they had enclosed the porch, 5 years ago, it might have been, but
That's-
that was ago, it wouldn't have been. So, okay, other questions, Andrew?
no, so you're saying, Jody, that rear porch was in a later addition?
Yes.
Okay, all right, no, that's all I have, thanks.
Okay, Joel?
No, I'm okay.
Jan?
I'm good.
Savannah?
I think I'm good. I think it's clear, what's proposed. It's a little unfortunate that it's already been constructed, because I think we would have had some good recommendations to make more distinction, especially since the back porch was an addition, and that enclosing it again is changing it yet again. Would have liked to see control joints or something like that, but I generally agree with the advisory board's recommendation to distinguish the new by retexturing the stucco of the addition to be smooth and to remove the rock wall at the base, so.
Yeah, okay. If there are no other questions or comments, do you want to make that motion, or someone can make that motion?
I can, yeah, does
Okay.
everyone generally agree with what I just said? Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything I was missing? They talked about reduced setbacks too, I should probably
Oh, yeah,
reiterate.
as I mentioned, we have to, that we are okay with the waiver of setbacks.
Okay,
And I guess you could, yeah, on the plans as submitted. Yeah. Cause it's got all this other garden work and wall work.
Can you go back to the elevations real quickly, just for reference? Okay. Okay, thank you.
are we, okay, can I?
I think we're ready.
Alright, on the matter of SD 1223 00137 at 125 East 16th Street, enclosure of a rear patio into a family room. I move to recommend approval of the project as presented, including the following comments that the proposed waiver of setbacks is acceptable, that the addition be retextured to have a smooth face finish to distinguish from the existing structure's heavy to medium sand finish on the stucco, and that the rock veneer base be removed from the addition. So,
Okay, and you mentioned the waiver, correct?
yeah.
Okay, all right, who will second?
This is Joel, I'll second.
Okay, Joel, thank you. Is there further discussion? Okay, if not, Andrew, what do you vote?
Aye.
Jan,
I,
Savannah,
Aye.
Joel,
Yes,
and Terry votes aye, so that's also 5-0. Do you have anything, Stephen? Any questions for Jody?
No, thank you so much for your time, everybody.
Okay, thank you. Okay, group, we're gonna go ahead and move ahead with 3D because the presenter complained about moving, so we're gonna have to be very quick so that we do not lose our quorum. And so I'll go ahead and call that case 3D is SD 01240009 at 15 North Santa Rita Avenue. It's to convert an existing structure to a wine bar cafe. Is that an existing building actually, Jody, or is it a structure?
That house.
It's a house.
So
It's a adaptive reuse of a house.
it's really a building instead of a structure. Okay, just for clarification. Full review, Rincon Heights National Register Historic District, Sunshine Mile Urban Overlay District. It's a contributing resource. We'll use the rehabilitation standards. Is this something that Ms. Gayoso has to give us background on, or will you?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
Will you give us background, or will Ms. Gayoso, because it's in an overlay district?
It's Maria, and she's here to give you some background.
Go ahead.
Hello, Ms. Majeski, members of the PRS. Yes, indeed, this is the conversion of an existing single-family residence and what was a former garage, both contributors to the Rincon Heights National Register Historic District. They're proposing a wine bar and also to have general merchandise sales on site. They're proposing to use the Sunshine Mile District as a tool for redevelopment. The project was reviewed a couple of times by the design professional who is now recommending approval. And because they are making modifications to the existing contributors on site, and because they are within the National Register, they need to go through the PRS for review. These may be going also through the DRB Sunshine Mile District for review as well, since modifications to the exterior modifications to the contributor are being proposed. And that's all I have for now, Ms. Majesty.
Okay, and so Mr. Mack, are you the presenter?
Yep,
And you should be able to share your screen, Bill.
thanks. So this is the project here highlighted in red. It's on Santa Rita, just north of Broadway. The existing house is located closer to Santa Rita, and then there's a small garage structure that's to the west of the existing house, and both of these are contributing properties to the Rincon Heights zoning. Here's some views. This is from Broadway. Here's the little garage structure, and then here's the existing house. You can see in kind of the greenish color. And then here it is looking from Santa Rita, kind of the south side, straight on center, and then down the Hughes Street. And then closer up, you can see the house as we're going around it. There's not a lot of modifications that we're doing to the existing house, and those will be outlined on some elevations. But this is the entry door, and then we're going around the south side of the house in the middle, and then the south side and west side is located on the bottom row. There was once an enclosed, or once a porch that I think has been enclosed at some point. And then here's the north facade of the building, and then here's the garage structure. So pretty standard Rincon Heights typical construction. It's an adobe building, wood framing. And so the site plan as presented, the house is going to be turned into a retail and bar area with a small commercial kitchen, not a medical kitchen. And then the exterior will be a bunch of outdoor seating areas with the garage building turned into storage and restrooms. landscape plan for your. And so the darkish blue are the existing house. The lightish blue are some covered porch areas, and then this red is a covered a shelter that we're proposing to be constructed between the existing house and the garage building. And that'll be just a simple gable roof, steel truss, wood, steel columns, open air with a corrugated top. And so here are the elevations. And so this is the west elevation, and you can see the porch and the existing window of the west side of the existing building. And then this is the structure that we're proposing, the shade structure that's going to be placed between the garage and the existing house. And then here's the west elevation with the garage in front of that. And then here's the east elevation, the entry. So the front door and the existing windows. You'll see the wrought iron or steel tubing, low fence for the front, and then a corrugated fence along the alleyway along Hughes Street. The north elevation, which is along Hughes Street, the alley. And so that's the corrugated fence. In the area that it's not there, that's an existing CMU wall. And then you can see the elevation of the shade structure that we're proposing. And then finally, the south elevation showing the garage, the shade structure, and then the existing house with the corrugated fencing in the background. There will be a sign placed on the building, painted, Sunshine Wine. That's that'll go under a separate permit process, and it's within the 50 square feet required or whatever. Just materials, basically, the only material we're kind of adding to this project is the corrugated steel for the fencing and the roof material of the shade structure. Basically, all the windows are going to remain in place. If we're removing a window, we'll be replacing with a flush panel door. Here's the inventory form. Not much to say about this. It's just your standard Spanish colonial revival bungalow type building. And then here's the development zone. The shade structure that we're proposing, there's probably not a lot of precedent for something like that within this development zone. But we're trying to keep it as light and see-through as possible was basically the intent. But anyway, the photograph one is across Hughes Street to the one of the few accessory structures on the in the development zone. Number two is the contributing structure that's located across Hughes Street. Number three is a small garage structure with another bungalow type house located at the corner of Santa Rita and was it 10th? And then across the street, the apartments, the non-contributing structures, and then the mid-century modern building that's across Santa Rita is photograph number 5. And so the things that are happening at this building, number one, we're going to change the hinging on the front door and keep the opening the same width so that we can get a 32-inch clear opening for accessibility. Number two is we're widening the door on the back porch. And and creating a 36-inch door with a 32-inch clear opening on that enclosed porch portion. Number 3 is we're keeping the door to the we're replacing the door to the bathroom in an existing opening. And number 4 is a new opening just to the west of that for bathroom. Number 5 is taking a window on the north facade and turning it into a door for kitchen ingress egress. Number 6 is the new shade structure, the shed type structure with the gable roof. And then finally, number 7, well, not finally, number 7 is the 6-foot tall Core 10 corrugated steel panel. And number 8 is the 36-inch open fencing that's made out of the tube steel. And so there you can see on the elevations where all those things are located. Maybe the big one is this door here, number 2, that's going in that opening. This door, number 5, replacing the window. It's the same width. We're not increasing the width at all. We're just removing the adobe block below it. And then here's the porch or the shade structure, number 6. The shade structure is not visible from the street. It's not as tall as the existing structure. And so we feel like it works within the Secretary of Interior standards. You know, if this was done, you know, in order to keep it as a contributing property within I think it meets all those requirements that SHPA would have. And some details on the fence, the low 36-inch tall fence, and then the 6-foot tall fence. And that's it. We had a meeting about this at the neighborhood. It was mostly about parking. No one was really that concerned about the modifications that were being made to the building, but it was just a required neighborhood meeting for the Sunshine Mile process. I'll leave it open to your questions.
Okay, let's go. Who would like to start with questions?
I had a question for Maria, I think, just about, we usually get the design professionals' comments, and I may have missed them, but I didn't see them. And could you just summarize what their comments were?
Maria?
No, she's still here. She's
I mean, Jan, I have on my screen.
trouble with audio.
Oh, do you have them?
Yeah,
Thank you.
I mean, it's just check the submittal, and I addressed these comments of adding information about solid waste and utilities, but basically it was passed.
Mr. Majewski, members of the PRS, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, it was pretty straightforward with the design professional. He was just asking for confirmation with the Department of Environmental Services, if they were okay with the way the trash is gonna be collected. And he was asking also the applicant to provide utility lines on the plans, and that was pretty much it.
Yeah,
So
we would, go ahead. Maria, we would like to see those in the future when we have cases that have been reviewed by the design professional, if that's all right.
Yeah, I always provide them to staff, so I'll make sure that
All right,
they're
thank you.
provided to you.
Okay,
Well, can you repeat that last comment? I missed it.
my comment?
About lines?
I'm sorry?
I was just asking, did you hear it?
No, the part of Maria, what Maria said they called out was kind of garbled.
Something on the plans?
Oh, yeah.
I just wanted utility lines
Mhm.
Oh,
to
Okay.
show the electrical, gas, and waste.
Where is the trash? I mean, that's a good question. And
The
somebody,
trash is going to be taken by the 90 gallon APCs to the curb. And so the
Oh.
trash containers are located behind the 6-foot corrugated fence along Hughes Street that the folks will take out onto Hughes and out onto Santa Rita.
Okay, Jan, what about, did you have other questions?
No, I don't think so.
Okay,
Yeah,
Savannah?
No, I don't really either. I was looking at materials, but they're on the plans. So I think my only question was they're all wood windows, but there's one vinyl, but that's just
Yeah, the one little
existing.
vinyl guy, thanks to Jody pointing it out, because I completely missed that in my first submittal, is the little guy in the kitchen on the south facade. But then the rest of them are wood double hung.
You just wanted it identified as not original?
No, he had a picture and he said all wood windows and I'm like, that's vinyl. That's not wood. That was why I picked it out.
Okay. But I mean, the idea is that you rehab where you need to, but otherwise all the windows stay as is.
Everything's staying in place.
Yeah, okay.
And reworked.
Okay, Joel?
No questions, yeah.
Andrew?
Nope, nothing. Looks good.
Okay, so if there are no other questions, who would like to make a motion?
Unless someone
Okay.
else. All right, on the matter, I don't think there are any comments. All right. Bill's used to that.
yeah.
On the matter of SD-0124-00009 at 15 North Santa Rita Avenue, conversion of an existing residence to wine bar cafe. I move to recommend approval of project as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, Jan will second. Is there further discussion? Okay, if not, I will vote aye. Joel?
Aye.
Andrew?
Aye.
Jan?
Aye.
Savannah?
Aye.
Thank you. It passes 5-0. Good luck with your project, Bill.
Hey, thank you guys very much. I'm sorry for complaining, Terry, but I did get bumped the last time this Euclid project went up. And so I really had to say something this time.
Well, but
Sorry.
I'd be surprised if you didn't, you know. We've known each other how many years? Anyway, but let's just hope we can get through this, but thank you very much.
Good luck. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, so on this case 3E, we're going to need Joel to recuse. So Commissioner Ireland recuses and leaves the meeting at 2:20.
Yes,
Okay, so
I'm
you
leaving the meeting.
and then we'll call you. Okay, so we're gonna power through this, everyone. All right, so case 3E is TPPRE 0224-00034 at 929 North Jacobus Avenue. This is to relocate houses from 812, 814, 818 East Speedway and 1036 North Euclid to 929 North Jacobus Avenue, and demolition of rear addition at 930 North 2nd Avenue. These are contributing resource. It's a courtesy review, and it's West University Historic Preservation Zone. These are contributing resources, and we use the rehabilitation standards. So, Jody, give us a little background here, please.
You'll recall that you had seen these before. This is the capstone project where they are proposing to relocate 5 structures and demolish one. And in the place at the southeast corner of Euclid and Speedway, they'll be building new student and workforce housing. These houses will be relocated into West University, where they will be maintaining their contributing status. It was already approved by mayor and council through the discretionary process. And this point now, they are coming permitting process to get all of the finite details approved. But right now, it's just a courtesy review for you to review, and if there's additional information that you want to see on the plans, then this would be the time to recommend that. And Noel, your co-host, so you should be able to share your screen.
Can I just ask a clarifying question, Jody? The two buildings that are, the two structures, houses that are remaining, did we see those before? It seemed like we did for work on them, and there's work ongoing, so I just, if that was permitted work on the two structures or.
The two structures that are on Euclid?
No, that are here remaining on this property, they're doing siding and stucco work on the one that's on Jacobus. And there's.
So this is the one that's there,
Right, and this one's there,
and this one's there.
and there's work ongoing, and I have this feeling we saw
we
this or
did.
something before.
Yeah. So several years ago, there was, that came through, Joel actually brought it through.
Right before he was on the commission.
Right before he was on the commission, and there was a really rather long addition onto it.
It's because
It's-
Is that no longer there?
it's still
So
there. It's
part of
still
it's there.
Yeah,
Part of it's been demolished.
yeah,
So you approved part of it to be demolished, part of it was retained, you requested that
Yeah.
it get retained. They have done some additional research on the history
I
of that
remember that
portion,
was an issue,
Yeah.
get the information,
Mhm.
yeah, okay.
but you're correct, yes.
Okay, so yeah, so that this building on Jacobus that's being stuccoed right now and worked on, that was under that previous permit.
That should be under that previous permit,
Okay, thank you.
but I can have Rick Saldate go out
No,
there.
I just was trying to, well, check my memory and get a sense of what's going on here, so that's, thank you. Sorry, thank you.
Oh, no problem at all. Afternoon, everybody. Again, Noel Grimsman, Senior Urban Planner, Snell Wilmer, for your record, 1 East Washington Street, downtown Phoenix, 27th floor. As Jody mentioned, a lot going on with this project. I know everybody's kind of seen a lot of it, so I won't spend too much time going on the background, but really kind of just focused on the relocation plan. Last time we were here, we talked a little bit about the First Street site. This is the more complicated of the two, which is the Second Avenue site. And as was mentioned, there's the existing home that's on the north west corner of the site, and then that addition piece, and it's hard to see on this drawing, but there's kind of a dashed element here where that additional element is, and then that small building along Jacobs is on Jacobus is on the back. And the plan would be to have that kind of extra portion of the existing building removed, making way for 812, which would sit on the north side of the site, and then 818, 814, and 1036. So that's sort of the plan. And I think I'll start with the demo request. What we had done was, and actually I think it shows up pretty well here, was two things. So one is the kind of the plan itself to remove that element and restore that back wall. The interesting part of that building, if I can find it here, is the condition of this back wall. There is we got a photograph of the interior and where this window is here on the back. Looks like there's a matching window here. It's basically a bookshelf now. So we would be replacing a like for like window. We're a little bit suspicious of the door pattern, but when they get into the demolition, if they do discover a door frame, they would be restoring that as well. So our plan that comes through will actually have some notes on there related to kind of a once they get into that wall, if there was some evidence of former openings to restore those back in. The rest of that building would remain the same, so it would essentially just be that kind of we'll call it the north eastern kind of wall there. About a third of that would be restored to a like for like stucco finish. As far as kind of the information on the building, this will be in your packet, so I won't read everything here. But the main thing is, again, this is the house on the street side, and the portion that we're talking about, this kind of legged rear element, that from the best kind of essentially was like little studio apartment spaces that were put in. From what we can tell, the Sanborn maps in 1922 don't show that element. There's the original house footprint here. Same in the 1930 map. 1945 is when you actually start to see a lot more of that activity on the site. So that element shows up, and you can see they enclosed. Looks like they made that little addition to that porch element that was on the back that has that the door elements. So that's why we kind of want to do some discovery in that as we get into it. So from the best we can tell, it's sometime between 1930 and 1945 that element was added to the building. It's a little bit better close-up of it. And then we have a little bit of a history on kind of the apartments being advertised. Over the year, you can see that they were describing a 3-bedroom house in 1937. And then you can see there was a bedroom for rent in 1943, and then a couple little bedroom they described as apartments in the 50s. So that kind of fits along with what we were anticipating. One of the things that would be nice about that element going away is this is looking kind of from the north looking east, and the way they installed it kind of jogs out from the facade line of the existing house. So you can see the doorway element in there. So it actually kind of offsets from the plane of the house. So with that removed, we kind of restore that original edge to the home. And let's see, and then from a condition standpoint, you can kind of see where this element was kind of added when they did that initial additional work. Some interior pictures, and this one here I think kind of shows the condition of the space with some of the demo work. You can see there's a kind of a adobe wall treatment that they did when they constructed this element. I think that's about on the 920s building. So then again, getting back just to the rehab plan, the idea would be to basically rehab that facade and reintroduce those fenestrations that were originally there. Let's see, I think good. So let's see, I think then let me walk through real quick before getting questions. Let me walk through real quick on the kind of the design package, and we have some comments from y'all from our last thing and our last conversation, and the packages are very similar. So I'm essentially a lot of the same comments apply, and we're updating the plans accordingly. But let me walk through this guy here real quick. So we've got so many of these. Why is this not doing show all windows? There we go. That's 1912. We'll do 1812. There you go. Okay, so that should be the 1812 one. So the idea here was, each package will have generally the same stuff. Obviously, the plans are a little different, but essentially, again, the site and the location, and actually the aerial kind of gives you a good idea of you can see the that addition and that offset I was mentioning before. So for 1812, that's the one on Speedway. It's got the little porch detailing to it. This one here would be the one that would go in that spot there. So that would be the one that would be behind the existing house that's there. Again, those are the photos of that existing detached element. Got some photographs of the surrounding area. You see some interesting terrain. Our house mover has a little bit of work to do as far as getting the houses up into the site. And this is kind of the context of the alleyway condition around us. This is the existing home. And all right, so then I get into the elevations of the structure. And again, we'll be adding some more detail and notes on here, but generally our plan is like for like. With this one, the big thing will be the porch elements. We've got an interesting this wood element here. We've got to work with our structural engineer on that. It's there's a the change in sizing and wood and things over the years is kind of things that were structurally okay a while back, as you know, are a little more challenging now. So we're talking to our structural engineer to make sure that can be moved. We'll be putting new roofs on with dimensional shingles and restoring the windows as needed. The chimneys will be reconstructed to match on site. So there's a number of chimneys on all of these buildings. So those will all be reconstructed. And in this case, the porch, because it's not really integral into the structure, it's a secondary element. They'll have to take that off the house in order to move it. And then the porch itself is a cast concrete porch, so they'll reconstruct that. And the piers and the walls will be reconstructed to match as well in this case, because it's all heavy concrete. Let's see, and then the trim work, again, we're working with the structural engineer on the roof, that porch element. And then we've got the scope, a little bit more detail wise, again, just the things we kind of talked about. So this just kind of verbalizes out each step that there's in the plan. These are kind of the photographs of the current condition, and that kind of lean-to element on the back that be cleaned up. And I think on this one was the one that has the some interesting windows in the back addition. So those elements will be documented as well in our final plan set. Floor plan, pretty exciting. There we go. So there's those trusses that we've got the structure looking at, because you can see that span and they're fairly thin. So but we're optimistic that can be solved for. And then there's just some more details on the facade itself, and then this is just the property inventory form, essentially some details from our consultant on the history of the house, and then those items really don't apply. So that one, that's 1812, and then the packages again are fairly similar for each one, but flip through the meat part of this one. Get that guy up here. See if this thing's gonna be cooperative. 118, 114, 114. There we go. So 114 is the one that goes in the middle of the site. Again, the context photos are all essentially the same, so won't worry about those. This one's a little bit more challenging on the porch element. And actually, I think let me go. We've got again with the chimney elements, the stem walls, and this is interesting and important. So our structural engineer also is working on the stem walls for the foundation, so the houses maintain the same height that they're at today. So each one, as they're evaluating their current site condition, that stem wall detail will allow the home to be at the same height that it is today in its finished condition. And then, for example, with this structure, it has this the stone detailing on certain sides of the foundation that would be carried through in the final plan. Again, reconstructing the porch. And then the element here is the patio actually is integral to the structure, so that'll be moved with the house. And then the chimney again also reconstructed. And with this one, the porch piers will be reconstructed with a matching material as well. As you can see here, the current condition, it's in this stacked tufa stone condition. So this will all be replicated when they place the homes on the site. Again, that's just more of that scope and a few detail photos. So you can see how the porch is integral here, so that can be moved. And then cleaning up some, for example, like this window here where there's a old evap system that'll come off, and that window be replaced with because likely been, once you get in there, it's probably likely damaged. So if it's reconstructible, it'll be reconstructed or be replaced with a like element in window. Let's see, they're all getting painted. Yeah, let's see, that's about. Again, here's kind of those details on the stonework that's going to have to be recreated, and you can see the foundation here on the west side, how they have that detailing. So we'll actually we won't reconstruct it out of the stone because obviously structural challenges with that, but the idea would be is designing that foundation footer, the modern footer, with sufficient space that that stone can be installed as like a veneer element to it. And actually working with the structural to get, I'm trying to get enough depth in there, so it's very actually not as much veneer as one would think. It's a lot of just replicating that stonework. So they're working on figuring out that element so that can be tied in nicely with that. And I think that was about it on that one. And then let me pull up my other two here quickly. Let's see, 113, 118. And going through that one. 118. And 118 again, a lot of this, this is the kind of river stone patioed one. It's I think the most north eastern one on the current site. And this one would be located in the north, the south east quadrant of the site here. And I can pass all those photos. Again, similar idea. We'll have each one of the elevations with details. What gets a little interesting here is this this porch element has a combination of things that need to be rebuilt and recreated. And then we also have the chimney that has a stone detailing to it that would be replicated as well. And I get to the imagery of that. Let's see, there we go. So you can see here, we've got wood elements that would be, these are easily transferable. That's not too challenging, but they'll have to recreate the stacked stone porch and piers, and then the patio itself is a cast in place patio. We're also getting the details on the concrete itself. Most of it's pretty standard stuff, but a couple of the homes have got some patterns to them, so we're getting the details and the patterns, any coloring, anything like that. And I think on this one, new roof, porch stair recreation, all that. And then on the details, you can see here, we've got the pretty cool chimney that'll be reconstructed. Say floor plan. And then here's some of the detail work. So you can see the wood detailing here. And then this the river rock, and even some of that detailing on the chimney, which actually pretty cool. I like the way they did that. So they'll be recreating that as well. And then on our last one, bear with me as we get through these as quickly as I can. Last one, again, this will be kind of the star of the show from the street side. This one will be facing 2nd Avenue, so it'll be kind of the next in line to the existing home. And let's see, where'd you go? There we go. Alrighty, so this is the one that has that kind of cool eave details to it. I'm showing the photos here. Again, reconstructing the chimney, curved roof eaves, replacing window glass, etc. So there we are. So this one here will be, like I said, kind of the star of the show there on 2nd. This one needs, what's interesting is this one's got these columns, these column elements. So the Doric columns, I can't remember my Greek columns. Anyways, the column elements would be, that's just a big concrete piece that can come out and be moved. The stuff that has to be recreated. Actually, I think I've got a close up of those. There we go. So these here actually should be fairly movable. This element would be recreated. It's a little bit probably not movable. And then the porch element up in here is integral to the roof, so we think it's supportable. So hopefully that won't have to be deconstructed, that it can actually be moved. But the column, they would actually move this column as a separate element. And on this one, let's see if there was anything else particularly interesting. This one, again, got a little bit of those foundation detailing, so we'll carry that through in the final. And most of the windows and things in this one are in pretty good shape, but anything needs rehabbing. And new porch, stucco chimney, etc. So, all right, that's the 10-cent tour. So I'll be happy to take any questions. I'm guessing a lot of it will be related to detail, and again, I've got my architecture team listening to this, as well as the West University conversations we've had. So we've got additional detailing and information on the plans for what you'll see in the final submittal, but be happy to take any questions you have or anything in particular you might want to make sure we include.
Okay, no, let me just say to commissioners, we have, this is a courtesy review, so if there's anything in general that you want to point out to Noel, because we will be seeing this come back in a full review. Correct, Jody?
Correct, and I also made a number of comments as part of my pre-app review for it that's required, items that they need to include.
Did Joel talk about those in this?
I'm sorry?
Has he included those already in the presentation, or are those things that he will be additionally doing?
They would be in addition to what he has included.
Okay, do you want to summarize them real quick, or so we don't have to hit those if you've already talked about them?
They're similar to what I was requesting on 548, the other property that we reviewed
That
last
we
week.
looked at, okay,
Yeah.
all right. Okay, so folks, who wants to start? And remember, we have just several minutes because we need to bring back Joel, because Jan, you still have to leave at 3, correct?
Right, correct.
Right at 3. Okay, so that we've got about 10 minutes for courtesy comments.
I'll start real quick. I mean, I think you heard us last time, just, you know, stress the importance of all the little details, especially the really unique rock feature details that are prominent on some of these structures. So I guess I would just reiterate that, but I think you've heard it before and know it well by now. The question I had was this other existing structure that unfortunately kind of blocks the facade of 812. I was curious about what that is that's existing on the site. It's like a 1-bedroom, it's listed as some.
Yeah, the little unit that's on Jacobus. You know, unfortunately, I really don't know much about that other than it's there and it's been there for a while. So be happy to get some additional information on it if we're all curious about it. I'd be more than happy to bring some additional information.
I think
Yeah, what do you know about it?
it's just like a little box. It's like probably was maybe the original, like, or one of like a detached garage kind of thing originally.
But it's an actual dwelling unit now?
Yeah, somebody lives there, pays rent.
Okay, cool. I mean, it's just it unfortunately blocks 812, such as the porch, but yeah, I mean, in terms of helping you on the next submittal, I think it'd be great to see landscaping, if you have that resolved at that point, and then also like a full street elevation where you see all of them along, you know, the alley or Second Avenue, just kind of all of them together. It'd be neat to see, provide a holistic picture. But that's
The context.
yeah, just more context, I think. And then just paying attention to where orientations have shifted. I know looks like 1030, the 1036, that's in the same orientation, but some of them kind of switch around, so.
Yeah, and unfortunately, some of the challenges is the function of the move itself, so it's kind of a balancing act. We actually have to bring 812 in first, and then you can see we have some retention and kind of this core middle, which kind of limits angles there. And then it actually goes 818 gets dropped in, and then when those two are in place, then 814 and they work back towards the front. So it's a interesting move, but it does create some challenges for us on what goes where.
So they had originally had 812 facing inwards. So faced inwards, and then we had a discussion with I think we had a discussion with the keeper, and they actually ended up changing it back so it was facing Jacobus.
Yeah, they preferred that orientation. So.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, it sort of makes sense. Jacobus is pretty prominent.
It's a street.
Street, so.
It feels feels more like a road there than, you know, even though it's a smaller one, and I agree with that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
I think you made the best of the site you could, so it was a big puzzle, I can tell. That's
My
okay.
engineers has a heck of a time. I don't envy him.
Oh, and another thing to add, just so you realize, the period of significance for West University ends at 1930.
Oh, wow.
So when
I
they're,
wondered about that.
yeah, when they were talking about the addition in the back from 1930,
Yeah.
yeah.
okay. Okay, Andrew,
Yeah, it looks, I like it. I think the grouping of the buildings is a good fit for the neighborhood and how a lot of the other blocks were developed. The only thing I would maybe ask you guys to look at would be the parking,
Mhm.
especially the parking along Jacobus. That kind of commercial, like pull-in parking right in front of the building doesn't seem to fit the, you know, historic portions of the neighborhood too well. It feels more like the apartments across the street. So I know there's some challenges, you know, you have in the alley with doing any sort of parallel parking, and then obviously you're just challenged with having to provide enough parking and accessible parking. But I don't know, I think it would take away a lot from that, the Jacobus elevation of that southeast unit to have that in front. So I don't know. I'd like to see that unit maybe pulled forward. Maybe you could sneak some parking in behind it, or maybe just some other scenarios for that. But overall, it looks good.
Thank you.
okay, thank you. Any final things for Noel and the group? Okay, if not, I have a quick question for Jody and Noel. I mean, has anyone ever mentioned having some sort of plaque or signage that says these homes were moved, or how will that be sort of memorialized? Does that make sense?
No, I don't think that that has come up. It does get memorialized in the records. You pull up the plans,
That's special.
But I think
but yeah, it's.
to the point of like walking by and having
That would
something.
be nice at both locations, actually. Yeah, but it's.
Yeah, I think it's, and you know, it shows a successful, I mean, it commemorates the effort. It shows that it can be done, that, you know, we don't forget that that's an option, and we were just fortunate to have the conditions that allowed it in this project, right? So it's just something to bring up, and you know, maybe that's something for you to think about, Noel or Jody. You know, just
Yeah.
I don't know what that would look like yet, but it occurred to me that that might be a nice thing, because I think it's you know, it's a successful solution. It hasn't been fully implemented yet. Does that make sense? Okay.
That's
All
a
right.
great suggestion.
Yeah, so thank you very much. And do we have any idea when we might hear this in its fullness?
Well, hopefully as soon as possible. I have a lot of things to do to get this done, but our plans are being updated, and actually we're waiting to hear this feedback today just to see if there's anything else. So hopefully we can get a package back into Jody here quickly and go from there. So hopefully as soon as possible.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. And I'm sorry to
right.
rush you.
No, it's quite all right. I appreciate everybody's time, and we'll let you get back to the rest of the meeting, and look forward to coming back with something more formal.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. And
Thanks.
take care. Jan, do not leave until I get Joel back on, okay? Because then we would have lost the forum.
Just shutting down. It's okay.
Okay, I'm trying to find my phone number. Okay, hold on.
There's like interpretation.
Okay, I'm calling you right now. I'm gonna go on mute. I'm here though.
Nice. Absolutely. Good job.
Yeah, I think you guys can thank me for pushing this along.
I normally have to leave it through to pick up the kids. Breaks.
Poppy spring break is not until the end, until last week.
What's up with everyone having a different spring break?
Because they don't want them all out at the same time.
Okay, he's coming back. Hold on just a second. Yeah. Joel returns at some time. We'll see him. Thanks everyone for your patience. Get on Joel, please.
It's okay, I have a quick question for Joel when he gets back.
I think he's on. Joel, are you back?
I am back.
Okay, Joel returns at 2:55. Okay, go ahead, Jen, with your question and then
Hey,
we'll.
Joel, this
Yes.
is Jill. I was, you had said you were gonna be here in person, so I was hoping to catch you offline, but, since
I
I
apologize. I apologize for that.
No, that's okay. I was just, I kind of expressed my opinion at the meeting of the other site, and it occurred to me that you as the property owner, and I know you have a social justice background. I just wondered about that house that's being demolished at the other site. Have you looked into the possibility of relocating that? It's such a nice house compared to some of the crap that's being built for people. It seems.
Yeah, you mean 1050, I think it's 1052 North Euclid, is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, it's the one on the other property that's being demolished, that's scheduled to be demolished.
Yeah. Sure, why don't we call each other and we'll talk about it. Yeah.
Because I realized I mentioned at the capstone in the city that I was disappointed, but it occurred to me I should at least talk to you as the owner.
Yeah.
And maybe we can just have that unrelated offline conversation.
Maybe Terry can give you my number. She has it, she'll give it.
I've got your email at least, I know.
Okay. Your number. This is your cell number. I'll send it to Jan.
Okay, thanks so much. Thanks for your indulgence.
Okay, so Jan,
Thank you.
Shoot out.
right now at 2:58, right?
Yep.
Okay, so we'll have a quorum. Okay, so item 4 is task force on inclusivity report recommendations. 4A is discussion of best practices for naming of city and county owned physical assets. No chance that it could be discussed during this long meeting, so no report. Item 5 is current issues for information and discussion. 5A is minor reviews. Jody, can you update us?
Yes, we did 2 minor reviews on Tuesday. We had, Ricky was so kind to do those with me. We did one at 723 North Fifth Avenue for a new roof and a new railing to go on either side of the front stairs. And we did one, that's an Armory Park, and then we did one at 182 West Simpson, which is in Barrio Historico, for solar.
Okay, thank you. Do you have any upcoming?
I don't think so, but if I do, everybody was really quick to jump on it. Thank you, Andrew and Joel.
Okay, great. 5B is appeal.
We do not have any appeals at this time.
5C is zoning violations.
As Michael always says, we are continuing to work with the property owners on zoning violations.
Okay. 5D is review process issues. Does anyone have anything they'd like to share? I wanted to ask, is there any way that people, that the case is entered, that there's a question on people upload their plans? Is this the subject of a zoning violation or code violation? Or can that be entered? I mean, so basically people self-initiate their plan stuff, right? So they would have to disclose that, correct?
That it's a zoning violation, or that they've uploaded their plans?
No, that it's a zoning violation. So there's no motivation for them to check a box saying that it is, so that it would come up correctly on what gets spit out that you put in. These are clearly the numbers that you put together from what's in the new system. Correct, these SD numbers?
I think so, unless they are calling it out and there's a zoning violation already noted in the system.
So there's really no way except people double, being vigilant outside the system to know that it is.
When you look it up, I mean, if code enforcement has gone out there and cited them, then it's usually like a
You see
DV.
that
Yeah,
on
you'll see
your-
that in the system, that it's got a code violation.
And so you're just not picking that up, or like, for example, 3C was a violation, but it wasn't on the agenda as a violation.
I would say that I'm rushing to get agendas out and all the documents that are posted online posted out to you.
Yeah.
So I readily admit that sometimes I forget to put that on there.
Oh, no, that's okay, but I think, commissioners, we should just mention or ask if we think it is one, because clearly those plans look like they were, like, the thing was done, right? So
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, it's important that we state that in the record, somewhere.
And I don't know that the El Presidio one was actually a code violation. I think probably when he came in, they were asking about that, and that's why he's showing it, but I don't know that he actually had a citation out.
But he had jumped the gun and didn't get it reviewed first, right? Or did he?
Yeah, I think because when he submitted it, somebody reviewing it caught it and was asking questions about it, so that's why he was noting it.
Okay. All right, anyone else have a review process issue? Okay, hold on a second, I'm trying to write fast. Okay, item 6 is summary of public comments. Were any comments received by the deadline, Jody?
We did not receive any comments.
Okay, thank you. Item 7, could you tell us about future agenda items?
Yes, the Fox Theater rehab is expected to go on the 28th. We will have a project in Armory Park going on the 28th.
When you say Fox Theater, that's just a backstory.
That's look at all the work that I did.
Yeah,
And no commentary on anything new. It's just informational session on what work has been put into the existing building.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, let me just say, this is because he's been asking for several years now since we first heard the other case on the theater. And yeah, so we decided to do it and have this information for people's context, maybe to ask future questions when that case, if it comes back again. Right, Jody? And please tell him that he wanted to wait, but that doesn't mean he gets an hour. I want him to have the same amount of time that we discussed previously.
No, and before I bumped him to the 28th, because he was supposed to be on the 14th, he was agreeable to it. So
Good.
he's very
He has
confident.
to do. Yeah, okay. And then if you do schedule, when they come back for the moved homes, we need to not have very many cases, because we're gonna have to see each building as its own thing, would you think?
Correct. I have a bit of a backup, so I'm trying to push stuff through. But yes, I agree that once they come through and you're reviewing all the particulars, that we'll have not that many cases.
Yeah, so anything else for 328?
At this time, those are my 2 for sure items.
Yeah, we'll try to get something on there, because then that would be good to get something done for you. But I just worry that today was a real push to keep so we could have a quorum. And, we made that decision so Ricky could attend that other meeting, but this was tough. I mean, we could have maybe spent more time on the moved buildings, for example, Does that make sense?
And they anticipate that, if they get continued, they've got it worked into their timeline.
Okay, like if we can only hear 2 of the homes instead of all, right? In one.
Or you want corrections to the plans or something along those lines, yeah.
Right. Yeah, well, that's good that they're not pushing us through. So anyway, anything else, commissioners, you want as a future agenda item? Okay, So, we'll adjourn, but Jody, you'll send me all the usual stuff and you'll let me know when you want me to review the thing, and Michael's gone, so you have to do it yourself.
Yes,
And so, but I will review quickly so I don't hold anything up. So everyone, thank you so much. I know it's a big lift, but we did great. So, thanks.
All right,
thank you.
thanks.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye. We're adjourned. Oh, did I say 3:05? Adjourned 3:05. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Was that?
I have to remember what one I'm on, where I can stop the recording.